back to another episode of Dibble and Dabble podcast with your host Dall
and Voni.
And thank you guys so much again for being here with us. So once again, how you doing, girl?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Let me get a drink of water real quick before we get started.
It's such a beautiful day. I mean, y'all can't see it, but it's a beautiful day outside today.
It is a beautiful day outside, y'all. All right. So before we get into today's topics, don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms at Dibble and Dab Pod, as well as all listening platforms wherever you get your daily doses of podcasts. So today's topics include, we're going to talk about some good ones today, girl. We got imposter syndrome, being black or being a black woman in America, and mental health. So without further ado, let's dibble and dabble into imposter syndrome. So today's discussions, I should say, it might be a little deep, but, you know, we want to open up this space because it's a safe space, right? Correct. You know, we want to make sure that everybody, you know, has like an outlet and, you know, can kind of, you know, realize that, hey, y'all are not the only ones going through this stuff out here, right? You know, me and Voni both, you know, we have our own personal struggles, and, you know, it's okay to not be okay, you know?
That's true.
So talking about imposter syndrome, so one of the definitions of imposter syndrome that I found is the condition of feeling anxious and not experiencing success internally despite being high performing in external objective ways. So, you know, in a nutshell, it's just feeling like, you know, you're not worthy, you know, you're not doing what you need to do no matter in what avenue, even though you really are doing the damn thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, let's get into that.
Okay.
Get into that.
That's a good one. So, do you think the norms of society makes people like think they does this play a part in imposter syndrome?
Absolutely, because with society, even, you know, just being, you know, black and, you know, being a woman, it's just with the history of, you know, what, you know, people have gone through. Society says that by 25 you should be doing this.
Right.
By 30 you should be married and have kids. You know, by 35 you should be corporate CEO or whatever the case may be.
Right.
And it's not like that.
So, but do you think, what are you, like, when people say those things, who are they comparing themselves to? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Are you comparing yourself to everyday women, or are you looking at Oprah and Beyonce?
I think Oprah and Beyonce.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's because I had never really heard about imposter syndrome so much, but I think I didn't hear about it because in my mind I take imposter syndrome as motivation almost.
Sure, I see what you're saying.
That can mess you up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's. I just want to know. Maybe that's the norms of society. How, like you said, they have us thinking that we're supposed to do this, this, and this, and that's not always true. You know?
Yeah.
Everybody's path is different.
Correct.
So yeah.
Correct. For sure. No, for sure. How do you, so since you talked about it being a motivation, how do you believe it's a motivating factor for you?
Because I'm always trying to be better than the person I was yesterday.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if, you know, back when I was in school or something, you know, if I got a B on that test, next time I'm gonna get an A.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. And that might be an issue that I don't know the difference. You know what I mean? Because I just always try to do better than the day before.
Right.
So
right.
I don't know. I don't know how to tell the difference.
Yeah. No, and I definitely understand on the motivation factor. I know for me, like, for example, I talked about this in some of my previous jobs, is that that, like, let's say I'm doing well, but then, like, you know, like when it's just me in like my office or whatever, I'm like nitpicking everything, and I just still feel like I'm not seeing what everybody else is seeing.
Yeah.
That's definitely kind of how I think imposter syndrome is, because like, you know, like you'll say, Dallas, you're doing great. You got all these great things going. I don't feel that way. You know what I'm saying? So that's just like, it's just like, I feel like it's a facade, and it's so hard, to go through that. Like, you're inherently not doing anything bad,
right?
Or doing anything wrong, but it's just like you just don't see yourself in that positive light, and it's a shitty feeling.
Yeah, and it's weird though, because like I have a lot of coworkers, it's like I think it's 8 of us in that office or something like that, but I don't be looking for the recognition,
right?
Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because we get our evaluations and stuff, and my boss is always doing great. I'm like, okay, but that's fine and dandy, but put that on my check.
Correct.
I don't be needing that gold star. I'm not. I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of like, with it. I appreciate the compliments, but I don't appreciate it with words.
You want to be in a monetary value. Yeah.
So I'm like, this is work. Like, we're not. I don't need like I said, I don't need that gold star. I want it on my check. So I don't know. Maybe that's why I don't see that it's imposter syndrome, because I'm like, you're not giving me the right what I need. I don't know. You know?
Yeah. No, I get that. I think for me, outside of work, because I'm not really in my career right now.
Yeah.
But like, let's say, for example, I'm in grad school right now. You know, I have all these other things that I'm doing, you know, outside of work. But it's like I'm doing all these things, and I guess maybe because I don't see the finish line. Okay. I you know, I'm not, once again, I feel like I'm not where I need to be, because I started grad school late. You know, there's a lot of people that went straight to grad school after undergrad.
Right.
I took 5 years off.
Yeah.
You know, and so like I'm so late. And then like even now within my, you know, my field, you know, I'm a criminal justice major, and I'm not currently working in the field, you know, so it just sucks, because like I see, you know, everybody else doing great, and I'm doing great too, but I'm just not where I want to be. Yeah. So it's just like, I just feel like I can just keep dimming myself, and, you know, like I'm not out here, you know, breaking the law, or, you know, incredibly fucking up at my job. And so that's another conversation for another day, you know, but, you know, I just can't find sometimes the positivity in what I'm really doing.
Well, that's the positivity right there. You're not, like you said, you're not fucking up. So, you know, that's kind of what I kind of, I'm not in my career. I'm a criminal justice major too.
Right.
When I did go to grad school, I said, I think I said a semester out. Maybe a semester, maybe a year. But it was kind of depressing. Yeah. You know, because I was going for child therapy.
Right.
And I knew kids go through things, but I was like, damn, this is crazy. You know, and it made me go back to my own life. I was like, I kind of, you know, my mom, you think your mama crazy. You think she hitting you for nothing. But I was like, nah, she was decent. You know what I mean? Like, she was a cool cat. You know, love your mama. You know, but so I had to take a step back. And then when COVID hit, I kind of like, I don't think I'm going to do it. But I started subbing. So I'm not in my career neither. But I don't know. I just feel like I just have so many different. Maybe I don't know if I'm confused, or I was like, I just want to have a lot of stuff under my belt. Yeah. So if I leave this job, I'll know how to do this. You know what I mean? So I do have a couple certifications. The girl always at work. That's for sure. Yeah. But you know, I don't think that's a bad thing that you don't see the finish line quite yet, because you're still young too. You know, you're like you're 50. Yeah. Not even saying that, because they got people at 50 going to school, and that's awesome, because it takes a lot to go back. Yeah. You know, but to me, as long as you're on the right side of the law. Correct. Even though the law kind of broken, but as long as you ain't, you know, on the right side of the law, and you're, you know, I think you're doing great. Yeah. Keep that up. Like, no, don't beat yourself up. No, not at all. Yeah. Because it takes a lot just to even get a job, period. So exactly. And going back to grad school, kudos to you. Because like I said, I think I did like a semester, and COVID hit. I was like, I'm not going back. You know what I mean? I'm going to go back, but I was younger then, so I was like, I can't do. But now, so yeah, kudos to you, because grad school is a whole thing.
It is, girl. When I tell you, I'm so damn tired, but I think now I can finally see the finish line. I'm in my final class. See, so and I've already applied for graduation, all that good stuff. It's just like, girl, just hold on. I got 6 weeks left, girl. Yeah,
so you just hold on. Yeah. Stop beating yourself up. Give yourself a round of applause and a pat on the back.
Thank you, girl. Yeah, I appreciate you. Well, kind of diving more into that, you know, especially being Black and being a Black woman, you know, in America and things like that. So let's start it off. You know, when did you know that you were Black?
It's weird. It took me a long time to realize I was Black. I know that's kind of weird, but like when Katrina hit, we moved to that small town, and it was only a handful of us. That's when I realized that I was Black. Yeah. I'm not the smartest person, but I always had straight A's, A/B honor roll, right? Whatever. And, you know, when I was in not in college, not gonna lie, but when I was in high school. So it was sort of one time taking a test. You know, Spanish is easy. When you're in school, because you're doing it every day, you know, whatever, you're doing the worksheets, blah, 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 blah. So this particular teacher, she was like, let me see your wrist. But I had my nails done. So I'm slow. I'm like, you know, like, girl, look, you know. She was like, no, the other way. So I'm like, you know, what are you doing? Yeah. She's like, I'm making sure you're not cheating. What? So I said, I got to be cheating to pass? Because it was only like 3 of us passing. Yeah. You know, and I was like, so are you checking everybody else that's passing? Correct. You know, because that was you try to say I'm cheating, because you know, I was offended. You know, I was a kid, you know, so I didn't know no better. Yeah. And then so that's when I kind of first I was like, this bitch, you know. Yeah. So that was one, and then when I started working, my very first job, I worked at Sonic, y'all. I was a car high. Ooh, child, have I came a long way? No. Okay. It was funny, like the people were like, you're not on skates, we're not gonna tip you. I was like, that's totally fine, because I was getting paid minimum wage at the time, you know, so I wasn't really worried about that, and I was staying at home. I was like, what, 16, 17.
Right.
You know, I didn't care. But yeah, a lot of the like some of the people they didn't want to talk to me. They didn't want to put the money in my hand.
Yeah.
And you know, stuff like that. Like I got called colored one time.
Yeah.
It's funny now, but then I was like, let's fight about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, that's when I realized I was black. Was that day that she checked my wrist, and I was like, But I had when I graduated high school, I had a 4.1 because you know we was on that 5 scale.
Correct.
Then.
Right.
So yeah, but they was. I'm like, you can't get mad.
Right.
I ain't stupid, you know. But that's when I realized. I said, okay, this about to be a tough little life.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I think for me, when I realized that I was black, probably when I moved to San Antonio, which was in 2005 after my mother died, and I moved back here. And you know, when I was living on the East Coast, most of the, you know, for the majority of my, you know, younger life, I did live in Florida at one point. Sure, you know, I necessarily wasn't always the black kid, but my mom made sure that I also had black friends, and then I was also in, you know, activities with other, you know, black people. At one point, we moved to Atlanta. Atlanta damn near all black. So I didn't really have to look at anybody else that wasn't black. But when I came to San Antonio, which is a majority Hispanic city, it's like, hey, yo, like this is a culture shock because in Atlanta, you don't really see a lot of Hispanic people, at least not back then, you know, 03, 04, you know, when I was a kid. But, you know, when I moved to San Antonio, it's mainly Hispanic, it's a lot of more white people. And there is a nice amount of black people, but not compared to Houston. So, you know, in my class, I don't even think there was maybe 5 black people in my class in 5th grade. And so it was a very big culture shock to me, and that was okay, you know. And then I come from a blended family. So my stepmom and both my stepsisters are white, and then myself and my dad are black. And so, you know, my stepmom and my dad, they never had kids together. And so, you know, just learning that it's a different type of cultures in that house. But the one thing I will say that I appreciate, they never made me feel like I wasn't black. They always made sure that I embraced who I was. You know, girl, I had curly, you know, coily, forsy hair. You know, they made sure I got my braids. When I did have relaxers, you know, keep up with my relaxers, you know, all that jazz. You know, like they really made sure that I embraced who I was. They never diminished, you know, that because of the color of my skin. So that I'm forever thankful for that. But I definitely knew that I was going to be different. And, you know, coming from a blended family and all of that entails of coming from a blended family, you know, so that's definitely when I realized I was black.
Wow. Because see, we had, honestly, all of my like littler cousins are all mixed. Like, you know, there is not one all the way black kid, which is okay, you know. But yeah, I will say that like I do like pretty much all of my cousins' girlfriends. I don't know. I don't know what they're called. They're not married. I don't know. So I like them all. Like they're all, you know, because I don't have a lot of friends outside of my race. I do, but not that many. But I don't like. You don't have to try to be down with me. You know, be you, because I'm going for sure be me. You know. But I know, like you said, with the culture shock. You know, I was born in California. You know, but I moved from California to New Orleans. My family's originally from New Orleans. But you know, that was kind of like a culture shock too, coming from out there, because it was everybody in San Diego. Then New Orleans, that's a whole different world. You know, so moving from New Orleans to this small town where nobody looked like you, that definitely was a culture shock. And
sure.
You know, and even, you know, kids being funny, calling you nigga and stuff like that. And like I said, I was raised in New Orleans, so that fight is in me. You feel me? You know, so I was like, and then that's another thing that happened. The girl, she bum rushed me. I mean, boom, knocked everything out of my hand. I couldn't have that. I'm about to get arrested. But why me? Not her. Culture shock. I mean, that's why I knew I was black. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I was like, damn, you know. But mind you, she was a lot bigger than me, like a lot taller, you know. But and I'm like, I'm only 5 feet. You know, and this girl like 5'11". Why am I in trouble? Because I'm defending myself. That's when I knew that too.
And it's just so sad. And even today, you know, people, I feel like they really got it worse today. But hey, you know, once again, that's a topic for another day, y'all. But we'll get into that one day, you know. So I mean, obviously, you know, you're a black woman like I am, you know, living in such a diverse city like Houston. How do you portray your blackness?
That is a good question.
Right.
I don't know. Like
that makes you think.
I mean, just being me. Like, you know, I don't know. That's a good one. I mean, I try to stay as, you know, close to the culture as possible. Like, I don't know a lot of, like, even with coming to Prairie View, I didn't even know a lot of stuff.
Okay.
As far as history goes, you know, I didn't know who like Marcus Garvey was, and I felt like, damn, what the, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I just now I try to educate myself on a lot of different things now for the culture. I'm not gonna say I'm like a Black Panther or nothing like that, but I do know a lot more. Correct. So I just try to always, you know, gravitate toward the culture, be for the culture now. You know, I guess that's. I don't know. That's a good one.
Right. Like, I know. I was just like, shoot, I think that was your question, honestly. But, like, and now that you said that, you know, like, that is a really good question. I mean, for me, probably maybe the way that I wear my hair.
Yeah.
Now, y'all, this a damn wig, but it's okay. You know, your girl trying to regrow her hair, damn it. Okay.
Right.
But definitely, you know, I think when I had locks, that was probably one of the most like freest times that I really felt like my true self, because you know you've had locks for quite a while. You know every day not gonna be looking like a fresh retwist.
You see it looking crazy right now, right? I was like, oh my God. I was trying to like, you know, put some edge control on the front. I was like, this ain't working.
Yes, it ain't working. But you know, that's probably when I felt like my most authentic self, because you know, like there were days my shit wasn't doing what it needed to do, you know, and you know, we live in such a humid climate that edge control ain't gonna always last.
Bro, it's already gone.
Right, it's already gone. So you know, I gotta have my faux edges out and da 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 da. So you know, like that's one of the things, you know, that I had noticed, you know. So yeah, but I mean, in terms of, you know, your Blackness and stuff, how do you think that, you know, just being so sure in yourself kind of, you know, affects how you do things and how you move and all that good stuff?
Yeah, I mean, my family, you know, my mom, she kind of, you know, puts that strong Black woman.
Okay,
you know what I mean? I had a lot of people to look up to as far as, you know, being that. Yeah, I need that role model that I needed to know who I was, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I got my mom, my aunties, my cousins, and stuff like that, because I'm like I ain't the youngest, but out of like the adult kids, kinda, I'm like in the middle, like, you know. So yeah, I think they kind of help me with that path to know that you Black and you gonna be okay being Black. You know what I mean? Don't let nobody take that from you, because they can't. You know what I'm saying? You gonna be Black regardless.
Correct.
You know, no matter where you go, what kind of job you have, all of that stuff. Because I think some people forget they Black.
Yeah.
When they get to a certain level.
Yes.
You know, that's not a good thing. You have to always, because it's gonna hit you in the face one way or another. Correct. You know what I'm saying? Right. So don't run from it. Right. Embrace it. You know?
Right. Now, speaking of, you know, trying to embrace, and then, you know, this is such a, you know, taboo topic in our culture, is mental health. You know, and just really accepting that, hey, yo, you don't have to, you know, always be okay, things like that. So being a Black woman and, you know, going through everything, you know, in society, whether it's racism, you know, trying to not be the strong Black woman all the time, things like that. How do you think all of that, you know, imposter syndrome, trying to stay down with the culture, everything, how does that kind of tie into your mental health? And, you know, do you feel like mental health should be more accepted in our community?
I do. It took me a long time to say that, though.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I think, I can't say like in my household. Okay. But like, I guess I can, because we didn't do therapy. Just talk it out, you know. I think
talk to God, pray about it.
That's it. Yep. So, you know, it took me a long time. Like, I personally don't see a therapist. Okay. But I'm not opposed to it. Correct. You know what I mean? But I don't. Now, I've had people say, "You crazy? You need to go talk to somebody." Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm reacting because you said something out the way. Correct. Don't say I'm crazy, because what did you say for me to react this way? You know what I'm saying? So it's a difference. But yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I do think people that look like us are, you know, because they don't want to come off as something's wrong with me. Yes. Nothing's wrong with you. You just letting it all out. Yes. Because that bottle it in will make you pop. And I have cracked. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. I don't think I need help for that part of it. Yeah. Because I just had a breaking point. Yeah. Like I said, but yeah, I think a lot of people, and it's crazy because I don't get why back in the day, like if you talk to like your parents and stuff, I don't know, at least mine, nah, yeah, you don't need to go see nobody. Yes, you're okay. Yeah, you know. So I don't know. I do think it can work for some people. I mean, if it doesn't work, that's okay. At least you tried. Correct. You know. So yeah, I'm not opposed. I think a lot of more people, especially a lot of Black men. Yes, definitely Black men. And like as someone, so I do see a therapist. And you know, this is something that I battled with for years. I was like you. It took me forever to realize, hey, I need help. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because like I used to have people, oh, you're crazy. No, you need to talk about it to somebody. I'm like, it's not that simple. Yeah. You know, trying to convince yourself to be so vulnerable is so
damn hard. And, you know, I've been going to therapy for quite a while, even before, you know, I, you know, almost attempted suicide and stuff like that. But, you know, it really does work. And like, even now, like, you know, and I'm kind of glad that we talked about imposter syndrome first, because that was one of the biggest reasons that really led me to therapy, is that because I was such a high achiever, you know, and I've always been a fairly high achiever, but I just did not feel like I was doing enough. And because, you know, I'm getting older, you know, I'm married now, things like that. I was hitting so many different milestones, but I just felt like I had nothing to show for it.
Yeah, it wasn't registering that you're doing great.
It wasn't, and you know, it wasn't. Yeah. And then, you know, now, you know, I'm finally starting to see it. And then even Larry, you know, like, granted, we don't, you know, we're a married couple and things like that, and we don't have anything majorly wrong. But I always tell Larry, I was like, first of all, you've always helped me through my mental health struggles. And I always tell him this, you know, after every argument and everything like that, I can't imagine how you must feel having to help and support me. Yeah. So I always encourage him, if you ever want to go to therapy or even couples therapy, let's do that. And
when I was in grad school, that's what they told us. They was like, I said, you know, I'm like, wait a minute, this is a lot to take in. Yeah. And they was like, what do I tell Voni? What I tell her?
Correct.
Every therapist need a therapist.
And they
know
do.
What I mean?
And they do.
It is a lot to take in, you know? So, yeah, I definitely, keep pushing them, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think about going, like I said, I think I kind of have, I guess I do have imposter syndrome. Cause I mean, in my mind, I'm like, somebody has it worse than me. Why do I need to go let them do it? You know what I mean? Don't take that spot, because maybe somebody else needs to talk about something, you know, like you said, suicide, something like that. Yeah. I haven't been to that point. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if somebody is, help them. Correct. I'm okay. I'm gonna be okay. Yeah. But then somebody also told me, they were like, but don't ever downplay your own situation.
That part.
I said, damn, y'all hitting me with it, huh?
Yes. You know? yes. And like, we talk about that all the time with my therapist, you know, and it's like, you know, like, I was like you, I'm like, damn, like, she maybe could have been helping somebody else. Right. But it's like, at the same time, I also need help too. And, you know, and I always tell her every time I talk to her, I'm like, girl, I'm so sorry, I'm here crying about some other shit again. Yeah. But she was like, that's what I'm here for. Right. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, just to be open about that, it's crazy. And then, you know, I pray to God that you never experience what I experienced. Yeah. But, you know, that was probably some of the scariest shit I've ever done in my life. Even more scary than when my mom died. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and obviously I'm, you know, more open and comfortable to talk about it. But it's just like, that shit it's deep. Yeah. You know, and, you know, I'm so thankful that there are people out there that are willing to listen and also help you through it. Like, don't just let me grieve in it. Right. Let's make a plan and let's move forward with it. Good one. You know, and so that's just something that, you know, that anybody that knows, you know, my story now, everybody gets to know my story, right? You know, and we'll talk about that another day too. But yeah, I'm just so thankful just to have people like that in my life, and just be like, hey, yo, you're doing what you need to do, but there's nothing wrong with feeling how you're feeling. Right. Exactly. You know? So yeah.
I'm always gonna give you the pat on the back. You know, if
I appreciate you.
Now, if I see you doing wrong, I'm gonna tell you about yourself.
Oh, facts. But you know, facts. And that's why I appreciate our friendship, because and you know, it's you. You know, shout out to my girl Rayla, because you know we had to talk about some shit. Ray. Yeah, hey Ray. You know, we had to talk about some shit the other day. You know, like, she called me out on some stuff, but we made a plan to how to fix it. Yeah. You know, so just having those type of people in, you know, your life and things like that, you know, definitely.
Yeah. And but those people make your life, you know, way better.
And they do. Yeah. And they do. Definitely. They do. What type of advice would you like to give people out there that are, you know, going through imposter syndrome, not finding their identity, not, you know, knowing what to do when they're having these type of thoughts?
My main thing is stop comparing yourself to others.
For sure.
You're your own person. Sure. You know, everybody's path is different. So also be on a narrow path. Don't you know what's it called? The racehorses?
Yeah, how they have that the blinders. You got the blinders on. Yeah,
that's you. You don't worry about what he doing. Don't worry about what she doing. You do your thing. Yeah. You know, that's one. Don't be opposed to therapy. Like I said, I personally don't go. Yeah. I'm not opposed to it. I just haven't had a moment where I couldn't fight through it. Correct. You know, on my own sense. You know, don't get me wrong. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. You know, I did a lot. But I just I gotta get that out of my head. Yes. You know, I gotta consider somebody has it worse, but you're okay. You can get help too. You know. Yeah. So don't think that you are not worthy of the help.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes.
So yeah, narrow path. If you need to go talk to somebody, do it.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that. No one's judging you. And if they are, they're not your real friend.
Hey, listen, that part. And honestly, that includes family too.
Oh, yeah.
And we definitely gonna get into that one day, sure, you know, but that includes family. So, you know, you just gotta realize, hey, not everybody is for you, and that's okay.
Yep. Yeah. Cutting people off for your own sake, your mental that's okay. I
Definitely,
promise you.
definitely.
It's definitely gonna feel like a weight lifted off your shoulders.
Yes,
for sure.
it will. Yes, it will. And like Voni said, y'all, like I said, y'all have heard me talk about this. And if you know me personally, you know exactly what I've gone through. But if you know that you're having any type of thoughts, call somebody. Yeah. I don't want anybody have to go through what I did, where I felt like I couldn't call somebody. So definitely, reach out. People like us, like if you have people like that in your life, just call them. You're never going to feel like a bother. Right. So we definitely, don't want you to feel like that. And if you ever, have questions about that, let us know, because we definitely want, we want this to be a safe space. Yeah. We want this to be as open, whether we're joking, whether we're laughing it up, whether we're drinking, whatever. We want this to be a safe space for not just Voni and myself, but for everybody that, tunes in. So,
right. Because you never know, you may be helping someone by telling your story.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And maybe we can start maybe listing different techniques.
Yes.
People that we know.
Yes.
Because we know a lot of people in a lot of different professions. So,
yeah.
Maybe we can list someone they can make. You don't want to help you in.
Correct.
Dibble and dabble and did that for you. You feel me?
Yes, yes. And we would love to be, if we can help somebody in any way, right? We would love to be that for, someone. So
I agree.
But thank you guys so much again for tuning in to Dibbling and Dabbing Pod. We really hope that, that this particular episode and all of our episodes to come, if we can be a little light, whether we laughing it up, drinking it up, whatever, can be, something that you need in your life. Don't forget to follow us both on social media. You can follow me at theycallmed Dallas J.
Voni no Geo _
And follow our podcast page at Dibble and Dabbing Pod. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. We're getting ready to, work on our Facebook and anywhere that you stream our, podcast. So we do hope that you've enjoyed our show, and we look forward to talking to y'all soon. Bye.